In today's episode, I'll be giving my review and reaction to the 2025 film The Amateur. The Amateur is a vigilante spy action film with a runtime of 2 hours and 4 minutes. The director of The Amateur is James Hawes, who I've not seen any of their movies. This is only his second movie. He has directed 2 episodes of Black Mirror, Hated in the Nation, and Smithereens. Decent episodes, like Black Mirror, so didn't know a lot about the director coming in. We'll see what I thought of it. And this movie stars Rami Malek, Rachel Brosnahan, Katerina Balfe, Michael Stolberg, and Lawrence Fishburne. So let's dive right into The Amateur. Do something, man. People are questioning you. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the DubCast. I have made the promise to myself to try and see more movies in theaters. I'm aiming for 12 this year. 2025 is the year the movies were coming back. I think I'm only at 3 so far, though, with Captain America, Sinners, and now this, but got my showcase rewards. I'm ready to go. Had a day of PTO on Friday, and I was alone in New York City because all my friends worked, and I had accidentally booked a PTO day when I could have just worked from my friend's apartment. Nonetheless, decided to make a day of it. Saw The Amateur, which I did add to my list because I saw the trailer a couple months ago. Looked interesting, and I didn't leave this movie disappointed. I thought this movie was pretty solid. I like this, updated spy verse movie. It felt like this was taking place in the year 2025, and now if that might be a little bit surprising for people to hear. Be like, dude, it's taking place in 2025. It came out in 2025. Listen, with some TV shows taking months and years on end, sometimes half a decade to come out with a new season, to have a breath of fresh air like this was probably made last year, very current, very modern. I like that aspect. Also, with Rami Malek's character being in the CIA and all the cool technology he had at his disposal, I thought that was really interesting. And they don't overdo it with like tech guying you to death, where it's understanding it's understandable what he's doing, but you don't have the full scope. Obviously, he's in the CIA, so we wouldn't really get it either way. So I thought they did a good job with that. Patching in other aspects of the movie, I'm kind of just talking generally through this movie because obviously I was in the theater. I'm not a well, I am a screenager. Unfortunately, I'm trying to quit, but I'm not a full screenager where I'm, taking notes during the movie or on my phone in the movie. I put my phone down from the movie, pick it up right after. That's how we do. Still got a little, Gen Z, early Gen Z in me. I don't need my phone all the time. I can go off it. Um, so yeah, I thought the dynamic with Inquiline throughout the movie was pretty interesting, and I thought her being a woman was pretty interesting as well. Where usually you'd expect that to be some, Russian guy who's maybe in like the KGB, just working against the political system, or whatever. But for it to be a woman in Istanbul, I thought was really interesting and didn't feel too forced because they throw it right in your face at the beginning. And you're kind of just like, oh, that's a thing that exists. But when she becomes relevant later on, by the way, this movie will have full spoilers ahead, so please um, depart if you don't want to see spoilers or hear my full thoughts on the movie. Um, yeah, I thought the thing with Inquiline didn't feel forced since they introduced it early on. Felt like she was a solid presence, or it was a solid presence, honestly, throughout the movie. And I like that dynamic of this person's messaging you from Istanbul, and he's kind of get like those relationships. I think, especially in books, are kind of more interesting. I don't know why more in books just to read about it, but when it's kind of two, I've read the Jack Ryan book, so I'm kind of just referencing that. But when two kind of sources are communicating when they're not supposed to be communicating, they're on opposite sides. I think that's really interesting. So I like that dynamic of him and Inquiline. His wife's death, I thought, was really completely brutal and did a good job, kind of giving background on why he seeks out this revenge. I mean, this woman's executed at freaking gunpoint, dude. It's like execution style, crazy. I mean, they don't fully show it to you, but they flash back to it a couple times and make you know like this was a fucked up death. And most of it was captured on camera. I mean, he's pulled into the room, and of course, they're like, "Your wife has passed away," and he's like, "I don't believe you." And then they show the video, so it's like, right away, it sucks, bad death for her. I appreciate though that it's a real movie like that. I think this movie is rated R, so no kids are going to see this, and it is what it is. The training scenes with Henderson, Lawrence Fishburne's character, I thought were really fun as well. Felt like it was a realistic introduction to the CIA, especially since he didn't know shit about the CIA. I mean, he is kind of getting coddled on the side, but Fishburne definitely doesn't like baby him around. Henderson, I should say, doesn't baby him around like introductory steps or whatever. I mean, there is the range, but he's initially shooting with everyone else. The scene of Henderson just like throwing him against the wall, respectable. And I do appreciate their sort of cat and mouse game, although it was probably somewhat unrealistic. I don't know if it was unrealistic because Rami Malek's character was pretty smart, so it wasn't like he was just some dumbass just out foxing a CIA agent. But I did appreciate Henderson's chase of him and the kind of cat and mouse game that he provided as Rami Malek's character went on his journey. The dynamic of the CIA being, kind of corrupt, I thought was intriguing. It's nice for him to have like a scapegoat to go back to and also like a jumping off point. He threatens them with that, so that's why they're allowed to, basically enroll him in this, enlist him in the CIA and give him what he wants because they have all this dirt on them. And it didn't feel like they, focused too much of the movie on that. Like it didn't turn out that the CIA was behind the actual killings of the wife, and they did do their fucked up shit, but it wasn't so much of a distraction in the movie in my opinion. I mean, you do have the sit down scene of the director of the CIA and and that man Moore, but that didn't feel too distracting to me. I did like that aspect of the CIA. All agencies are corrupt, unfortunately. Hot take. No, but I thought that was an interesting dynamic, especially since he's kind of like he does have high clearances. I mean, he goes to level -6 or something, which is crazy, and that's where he works every day. But he's not like the most governed official. Obviously, that Moore person is his boss. So it is kind of nice to have that antagonistic force of them and Henderson. Also, their operative later on comes through as well. So I liked that aspect of it too. The way that Rami Malek's character is able to kill people throughout this movie, I thought was amazing. I think this makes the movie great. He doesn't have that quote unquote killer instinct, but his ability to end the lives of the people he's after in such weird and efficient ways, and it just like makes sense. I saw somebody on Twitter compare it to the way Walter White's able to get some of his dealings done, killing people. I like that comparison. Like, first you have the pollen attack, which is crazy that this woman's like an allergy class. He knows exactly what to do, crushes up the pollen, lets her go because he doesn't have the killer instinct, and then she gets hit by a bus. Like, that's crazy. And then you have the guy swimming on a pool in Spain in between two buildings with the glass encapsurement, whatever you call that, where he's like scintillating the glass so that if it hits a certain frequency, it blows. And then to see that man fall to his death was absurd as well. And then the hand stuck on the IED for the third guy when he thinks he's getting the missiles, puts his hand on the IED, can't move or else, I need to get what I want. So I thought all those ways were really interesting and awesome and made this movie great for an action film. We've seen action films. I mean, I've ranked and reviewed Man on Fire and, The Gentleman and stuff like that. And I feel like the way you make an action movie interesting is just killing people in different ways. Extraction too. So, I did really like that, especially for a character who's not going to be a killer in the movie and, not have that killer instinct. So yeah, the final interaction between him and Schiller I thought was really cool as well. Him not even killing him, Schiller gives him the gun and you're like, this might be the guy he finally kills because he hasn't had this killer instinct throughout the movie and now he's going to finally pull the trigger. But he doesn't do it because he hacked the ship and is going to send them right across the Finland waters, have them all arrested. So just kind of a nice back and forth scene there. Obviously, the Schiller character has been built up as our antagonist. He's really not that bad. He's kind of like a nice evil guy where he's just like, the world has to be how it is and I just have to enforce things. And, life is simple. One thing flows to another and that's what happens. And then he just gets outfoxed by him. And, Rami Malek's character is a beast. Additionally, you have John Bernthal as a fun addition to this movie, literally just jumping in at the beginning and then jumping in at the end. He literally had 2 scenes, but both scenes were pretty cool. And, I love John Bernthal, so to see him in this role as kind of his friend at work, and then he randomly just shows up in Russia to save him, sorta. I like John Bernthal, so gonna add that in as a positive note. One thing I will say is I didn't find the FBI slash CIA boss lady to be too rootable slash intriguing, but she was serviceable enough as someone who's just trying to do the right thing, trying to help out Remy Malek's character, and does help him at the end by having those people arrested. And the final scene of him flying the plane at the end, I thought was a little bit dumb, to be honest, but I do get the symbolism. He's finally able to fly free from his wife's death. All those people are dead. All his mission's accomplished, so he's able to be kind of stress free. He's still working for the CIA and probably getting paid a lot more. So good for him. He gets to fly into the sunset, sort of thing. But I like this movie overall, man. Like, I think I'd recommend this to people to go watch. Like, we got to get back in the theaters, guys, or they're going to take the theaters away. I'm telling you right now, even though I saw a good point on Twitter the other day that people couldn't think of one good movie that's come out on a streaming service. I'm sure if you put your feet to the fire, you really could. But go see this movie. It's a good action, like, thriller, spy, vigilante. Who doesn't love that? They do a good job. It's not some, rah-rah thing. It's well done. It's nice. I like Rami Malek in this role. I think it's interesting. A big tie into this is Mr. Robot, one of my favorite shows of all time. To see him sort of, like, I wrote in my Letterboxd review, this is Mr. Robot if he was in the CIA. That's literally what this movie is. It's crazy. It's fun. It's back and forth. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. Interesting. It's 2025, and we're still making decent to good movies, so go see them when you can. I was excited to see The Amateur, and it did not disappoint. So overall, I'm landing this movie at a 7.8. Pretty respectable score. Liked it. Would recommend to action fans out there, Rami Malek fans, him in sort of a different role than what you're traditionally used to, probably seeing him in that music movie and a couple other things like that. I don't know. I liked it. And so where does this 7.8 come in of our movies reviewed so far? So believe it or not, a year in, we're at movie number 55 on the list. This is number 31 of 55. This ties Deadpool and Wolverine, which I would take this movie slightly over Deadpool and Wolverine. And then The Gentleman also received the same score. I have The Gentleman slightly higher, all 7.8, so pretty common there. Extraction 2 is a 7.7. I thought that had some standout scenes, but this one was just a little bit better overall with the story. And then Man on Fire, I mentioned before, I think I gave that a 7.3. Same kind of thing, just thought the story was a little bit more compelling. Man on Fire, the slow-mo shot, you can go see my Man on Fire review. So where does this rank in the actors we had in this movie? So Rami Malek, this is our second Rami Malek movie, and it passes The Little Things, which was a 7.6 to become the best Rami Malek movie so far on the board. And this is also our second Michael Stahlberg movie, which was Arrival, was his first movie. That's my GOAT right now. That's my LeBron James. That's my Tom Brady. So it's going to take a lot to beat Arrival, I think, but maybe someday we'll be up there. This movie is a little bit below that at a 7.8. Did you not watch it? Now you want to go check it out because I recommended it. If not, let me know why you aren't going to see it. I'm interested to see, why people aren't going to the movies anymore. I think we've had kind of a renaissance in 2024, 2025. Feels like there's a lot of anticipated films out there, but what do I know? Go see The Amateur. And what you can expect if this is your first time on the channel, we do movie reviews, TV show reviews, sports reviews / predictions. I don't know why I said reviews. Next will be Backdraft. I've been saying that for like a month, but it's actually coming out, guys. I'm filming it right after this one. And then we'll have The Hunt for Red October and My Cousin Vinny. So all different types of bread on the plate. You can eat whatever you want. Same with shows. We just had Daredevil Born Again review dropped, White Lotus review dropped, tier list for both those character seasons dropped. Severance season 2 is still on the docket. And then for sports, we had NBA live stream a couple weeks ago for round 1. We'll have one again for round 2 whenever round 2 begins. And then NFL mock draft was last Tuesday night. That was fun as well. UFC 315 is on the horizon, so Survivor as well weekly. Like, it's crazy here. It's the DubCast. Anything can fly. So as always, be easy, y'all.